this is Dr. Flight. I'd like to welcome you and just express to you how excited I am about this semester. We're going to journey through MBA 631 marketing strategy. So this video is an introduction to the course and just a welcome to the class. This would be a getting started type of a video just to review what our goals are, what you can expect in terms of course delivery, some of the expectations regarding assignments and some things like that, the schedule and so forth. So again, this is more of an orientation to the course itself and where we're going to go from here as the semester and term progresses. So again, welcome. It's exciting to have you join me for the next several weeks as we get involved with marketing in depth and marketing strategy. So let's, I'll just walk through some concepts here in terms of what we want to accomplish. Again, there are 4 different learning outcomes that you could expect to develop and become better at as a result of this course. One, of course, is this idea of decision making when it comes to running a business, running an organization from a marketing perspective. So like many of the different functional spaces in an organization, you're faced with a constant barrage of decisions and ideas and thoughts that have to be filtered through in order to run your organization. So we'll think of those from a marketer's perspective for sure. That's one of those things that we'll do. Explain how marketing function integrates into cross-functional aspects of the organization. One of the ideas of an MBA is that it's holistic. So your background may be in finance or accounting or some type of a management space or data management or analytics. Could be marketing. But the whole idea is that an organization has to function from all perspectives, and one function or space in a business often will be used to support and extract positive results when the other functions are also functioning properly. So there's an integrated nature of an organization. It's kind of like the human body. We all have a heart and lungs and stomach and brain, and these are all important functions or elements, and it'd be difficult to survive without one of them, but also they work in concert with each other. So that's one of the ideas that we need to focus on as we move forward. Explain the importance of monitoring uncontrollable environmental issues. So one of the things we look at is the macro environment, and we also tie that into firm resources and competition. So you know, we all compete as an organization with a lot of times a similar context. If the economy, for instance, is doing particularly well, there are things we can do, as will our competitors. But what if the economy is doing poorly? We need to take that into account, and that will alter our decision-making process somewhat. So understanding the context in which we do business is important. And then finally, reasoning and using some analytical analysis to help solve business and particular marketing problems. There is a significant amount of analysis from a numeric perspective, quantitative analysis that we do in marketing. We'll address issues from a strategic perspective, from a theoretical perspective, but there'll also be some looking at some data or information as well. I think of this particularly, for instance, when we're analyzing a market segment. It's almost all data driven. When we're creating competitive space mapping, like perceptual maps, for instance, that's all data driven. When we decide on new products, We do concept testing where we gather data and we measure the effects of different ingredients and parts of a product. So that's all data driven as well. So in other words, there's a lot of aspects of marketing, all of which are driven by data today. And we'll talk about some of those. We'll get into some of that to some extent. This is not a heavy math course. Although some of the things we do will be new to you, in that space, but that's okay. So these are the learning outcomes. This is what you can expect from this course as we sort of move forward. When I look to assess your performance, when grades are assessed, in other words, there's primarily three focuses that tend to happen, and this is true with most all MBA courses. This is not germane to just to this course, but we want to make sure that students walk away from the course with a deeper understanding of the material. So this is not a principles of marketing class where we do a little bit in lots and lots of different areas. We're going to do very deep dives into concepts that drive decision making in marketing. So how well do you understand these concepts and the theories? How much do you know of them, and can you use them? And that's the second thing, the application of content, the knowledge of and ability to use appropriate marketing tools in practice. And again, this is an application-based degree that you're earning where you want to complete your coursework and you want to be able to perform better as a result of it. And so this is one of these areas where we want you to be able to take information, take knowledge, take theory, take the concepts, and then see and visualize how those concepts are playing out in real life and in practice. So what would we do, for instance, to form strategy if a certain element happened? What would theory say? What would practice say? We want to be able to integrate those two to be able to apply your information to something that you're doing. And then a big one that I really hearken on a lot is, and this is again true for a lot of courses, but you as a person earning a degree, a master's degree, one of the things we always need to do, and myself included, is continue to develop our critical thinking skills, our ability to reason, our ability to take abstract ideas and apply them in unique ways that will help solve problems. And that's kind of a big deal across all curriculums, but especially it's a higher learning level, I guess. So regardless of the situation, it could be a situation you've never experienced before, your critical thinking skills will help you get through it. Not experience, but your ability to think differently as a result of taking a course or taking this degree that you're seeking. So again, these are the things that I look for kind of as we develop rubrics and as I look at your work and assess kind of how you think, the justifications for decisions you make, the level of depth of knowledge that you have in a particular topic we're studying. Those all kind of go together there. Okay, so moving on, what we do in the class, the learning process, obviously there's going to be content. So we have a textbook, which I don't know if you can see it in the video or not. This is Marketing Strategy, Competitive Position by Hooley and others. This is a Pearson text. We're going to do 10 chapters out of this text, or 11 chapters, I guess, out of this text. It's a really great text for strategic thinking from a marketing manager's perspective. If you can think of in an organization, the chief marketing officer, the CMO, the person who would organize and lead the marketing function, create the vision and strategy for it. This textbook is a great piece for that. In addition, we'll have lectures, we'll have video lectures and content like that. There'll also be readings, so article readings. Again, most of the article readings have a point to support in application things we're learning from the book. So in practice, in other words, the things that we might want to see as a result of some theory we're learning in the text. Okay, so application. I guess I got ahead of myself. Application, mini cases, and articles. And you can expect probably one or two or three kind of application readings a week. Now, these are not long, they're not extensive, they're not arduous. And they should be fairly topical. Some of them are dated, but the concepts and the things these companies are going through relate in many different ways. But the application articles help ground the concepts for you, and you see in a bigger picture kind of how these things work in the real world. So these are real world types of examples. So content, knowledge base, that's the thing we want to do. Apply what you're learning to something in real life. And then a third component that we have in this course is an interaction component with your peers. So there'll be, in the online course, there's two opportunities here. One, on a weekly basis, you'll do a reflection of some material, of a prompt, of a question, and you'll have an opportunity to look at your classmates' reflections as well and provide feedback. So being observant of others' work and your own work is incredibly important as a manager, as a market in any field, any space. It's vital. So that's one part. Another part is you'll be on a team. Everybody is on a 4 to 5 person team. Your team will have a project, a group effort. You'll rely on your teammates. You'll have to push your teammates. You'll have to lead in some cases to create a new product and to analyze the market and industry and situation which that product's eventually going to fall into. Produce a report and do that together with classmates. That's obviously a heavily interactive component of the course. So there's that. So this is kind of the learning process. And so again, we want to create critical thinking skills. We want to develop a better, deeper knowledge base in your content area, and be able to transition that knowledge into practice. Okay, so some other elements then relating to the course. The textbook, again, I mentioned, is this marketing strategy and competitive positioning text. There is an optional text that you're welcome to review. So in an MBA program, some of our students may be coming into the program without a marketing background, for sure, but also some without a business background. And they may have degrees in other areas and not feel completely comfortable with a business background. So this textbook is a very basic open source principles of marketing textbook. So I'm going to talk about things in marketing, and it's not going to be at a principles level. If there are concepts that you don't get or don't know or aren't familiar with, Google them, go to this free textbook if you want. Ask me, of course, you can do that. But above all, get the background you need if you don't have it, I guess is what it all is. And of course, other readings. The other readings that we'll have, I will provide to you either in Word form or PDF form. Oftentimes I use just publicly available articles. So they can be shared and used. And those will be found in Moodle, relatively close to or within the assignment that you have, or the weekly readings that you have. Okay, so that's where you get the material and the things like that. Oh, lecture videos, of course. I will do lecture videos that basically are focused on two things. One, some of the material in the text. So I'll have some videos that you can review that support an overview of the textbook. There'll also be a single page kind of outline of the text concepts that you should know after reading the text. So there's that. But I'll also pick one or two topics from each textbook to go in a deeper dive or a deeper analysis of or some type of exposure. Some of the concepts in the textbook the authors you could literally write books on. And so each chapter, each week, I'll go into a few of those in deeper detail. That's not to say the rest of the chapter is not important, because it is, but there'll be a few things that I hone in on a little bit more, because I feel they're important. I think they're beneficial for your perspective, and maybe, in this case, these would be like tools you could use, for instance, or different practices that maybe the text doesn't talk about quite as much detail in, but relate to the concepts in the chapter. And so there'll be things like that I go deeper into. So you'll see some videos like that as well. I'll give you an example. The very first week, I do a video or two on exchange and exchange theory. The idea of how exchanges happen from an economic perspective and from a market-based perspective, and the role that marketing plays in facilitating exchanges. Again, that's a vitally important concept. It's one part of chapter 1 that's kind of talked about, but I go a little bit deeper into that concept for you. Okay, so that's the way the course is laid out in terms of kind of what's there and so forth. Other things that we're going to talk about, again, on a weekly basis, we'll basically cover a chapter a week. Again, highlighting the key points of the chapters and kind of the key concepts, but I'll definitely go into more depth on some things. There'll be 2 or 3 additional readings. Oftentimes these readings are part of a discussion question or a reflection, or some type of activity that you're doing that I want you to have a little bit more application in. So these are application-based concept readings a lot of the time. Some of the readings are purely support. So like, again, I'll go back to the exchange theory idea. There's a paper by an author named Gassemeyer that is more of an academic paper, and it outlines the role of exchanges in marketing, and it's a little dense. It's a little it is not the easiest read in the world, but if you read it, it'll give you a better background in that concept. That's what I call a support piece. And again, it helps you if you are interested in that topic and you want to really understand it. You'd read that article for a much better understanding than what the text will offer, or even my videos. So there are a couple articles that'll be more application, real easy, simple reads, and then I may add a few more each week that give you more support content as well. Again, you want to create like a laboratory of resources that are good for you, and that will help you do that. So on a weekly basis, we do those types of things. Now, throughout the semester, kind of a semester-long thing, we'll also be doing in parallel a project, which I mentioned earlier, that kind of helps you build a team. And it's a multi-stage project. There are 4 stages to it. So there'll be 4 deliverables that your team will have to provide, and they'll be graded on. We'll work on those throughout the semester. I'll have a dedicated video for the project next week to help you. We'll also get you into Microsoft Teams. You'll all be assigned a team. You'll be on Teams so that you can correspond with each other and correspond with me. We will meet as a group throughout the term at each of these stages. So we'll have a Zoom call as a group. We'll designate a time that works for you, and we'll do that so that there's some connectivity between myself and your group, and we can talk through any issues or problems that you have, and I can check in on you. You can check in on each other, but we will do that as a progress check before you turn in each of the stages of work. Okay, so that's something to look forward to. Course deliverables. Okay, we've got three or so of these course deliverables each chapter that we do. Actually 10 of the 11 chapters or weeks during the semester will have what we call a reflection. Okay, this in the online class, the reflection will be done in a discussion format. Okay, so for week one, there's two articles and a video that relate to Starbucks, and there are a whole bunch of issues with Starbucks right now. And one of your jobs is going to be identify 3 issues that are marketing related that they have based on your reading and also the video. And then choose one. If you were the new CEO, the new leader of Starbucks, choose one that you think needs to be addressed immediately. Okay, and so the idea is what you'll do is you'll write up about a page or so of information that answers that prompt, and that'll be posted to a discussion forum in Moodle. Once you post that, then you're free to, and what the assignment calls for is for you to then respond to 2 of your classmates. And what I want you to do in that response is consider what your classmates are saying and offer alternatives to their solution. Okay, this is a constructive thing. This isn't an opportunity to tear down your teammates or your classmates' thoughts, but challenge your classmates to think of other alternatives as well, and justify and discuss why you think these other alternatives might be valid as well. Okay, those are weekly reflections. Okay, so we're going to have 10 of these, all right? So not the whole semester, but most of the semester, most weeks, you're going to have some type of a weekly reflection, a 1-pager plus responses to two classmates, okay? Face-to-face classes, we'll do something a little bit differently. I have some comment. We actually do it in class, so it's more of a discussion in class. It's more of an interactive format. But online students, we do a discussion forum that will help support that. Okay, also we have our cases. These are in-depth, very lengthy reads. These are cases about a company that has a marketing situation that they need to solve. The cases will often have data involved with them. They'll often have lots and lots and lots and lots of information that you need to decipher and filter through. These are not quick assignments. Cases take a long time. You've got to put a lot of thought into the cases and how you respond. They'll typically be 3 to 5, I don't know, maybe longer, 3 to 6 or 4 to 6 pages long, something like that. I don't know, in terms of your analysis, just depending on each case. And we have 3 cases during the course of the semester. So think of these as tests, really. Think of these as exams. They're weighted more in the grades, so you should think of them as serious elements. I would not blow off a case. I would not be late turning in a case. I would not think that it's just an easy, I'll get this done in 30 minutes thing. That's not going to work. Okay, so these are important things. The weekly reflections, there's a little less emphasis point wise on those. They're important, but you have a lot of those, so you can kind of work through those. The cases, however, are a lot more in depth. And then finally, as I mentioned, the project. Your group will share a grade on the project, and I'll be pretty detailed in terms of what we're looking for and where you are, but there are 4 separate grading components to that, or stages. So you'll have a grade for each of those 4 stages, and those are the things that you should expect to do. Those are your assignments per se. Okay, 10 reflections, 3 cases, and the 4-part project. That's what you'll be doing, and these are all spread out throughout the term on a fairly weekly basis, basically, in terms of things that you'll need to be able to do. Okay, the schedule and the syllabus. We'll look at this Moodle here in just a moment. So you want to refer to Moodle. You can download the syllabus. It has most of the information that you want to know. I will expect and anticipate a significant number of citations in the things that you turn in. Okay, citations mean that in the body of your writing, you'll cite where your information's coming from, and then at the end you'll have a reference page. That's how we'll do that. Can you use AI to help you generate ideas? Of course, I would expect you to. But you still have to think critically to produce something that is going to be valid. So, as you're writing, you need to put your citations in the body of your work, and then we'll kind of go from there. But again, we'll talk about we'll look and see where the syllabus is real quickly here in just a moment. We also do have a schedule, and there'll be a little bit more detail in each schedule, but I do have something available for you today to look at with the key dates and things like that. Bear in mind, we'll do a chapter for 3 weeks. We'll do three chapters, and then on the 4th week, we'll take a semi-break so that you can work on your project. Okay, so in other words, we do 3 chapters, then we take a break, work on our project. We do 3 more chapters, take another break, do 3 more chapters, take another break, and then we do 2 chapters. And then the last week of the course is dedicated to your project. Okay, so bear in mind also this is the fall semester, so there's no class the week of the Thanksgiving, right? So that's just doesn't really work. Final week of the semester is 12/5 through 12/13. Okay, and something that you'll see, and I'm just going to leave this up here so you can kind of look at this. This is, again, available on Moodle, but something that you will see is that I sync up our online section with the face-to-face section so that there's consistency. So my face-to-face class meets on Thursday, so Thursday is the start of the week for me, for my classes. Okay, so Thursday, starting 8/22, that's the first day of the week. You could expect material for the week to be available on Thursday. Now again, some of the I'll try to get ahead so you'll have information throughout the term. But that Thursday through Wednesday make up week 1. I know this is confusing. I know this seems odd or weird or whatever, but week 1 is 8/22 Thursday through 8/28 Wednesday. Okay. The reflection for week 1 is due midnight on 10/28. So that's a Wednesday, because again, on Thursday, we start a new week. Okay. So I want your work done within the week. All right. So start on the 22nd, finish the 28th. So week 2 begins on 8/29, Thursday, 8/29. Reflection 2 is due on the Wednesday, the 4th. Okay. That's kind of how that goes. So reflections will be due the night before, or the last day of the week of the Wednesday. So again, I'm using week very in a cavalier fashion. You'll see the cases and the case dates. So there are 3 cases. Cases will actually be due on Tuesdays. I know that's a little weird, but Tuesdays, I guess, or rather Mondays, I guess, 2 days before the reflection. So and I do this because I don't want to stack things due on the exact same night for you, so I stagger them a little bit. But just look at the due dates for each of these different things. Again, the projects due on the Wednesday of the week that we do projects, and so on and so forth. Okay, so hopefully I haven't made typos here. I'm sure you'll let me know if I have. Please do. But this is what we'll do. I try not to modify the schedule too much once it's set. But so this is kind of where we'll go from there. All right, so if that's kind of the introduction portion, let me just come over to to our Moodle a little bit, and we'll go to our course. Again, this is a little bit of a work in progress. Some of the things I still need to develop. This is a new textbook for me, so it's not new materials per se, but it's in a different order than I'm used to. So I'm having to shift a lot of content around and create some new content. So that's why things are not all up and available kind of at the ready. You'll notice on the left-hand column here, we have a panel that has information in Moodle, kind of what we're doing. And again, things need to be updated here. So some of these things will be visible to you, some will not. But we'll have this introduction page. Any class announcements we'll use this announcement tab, and I'll send out an announcement to you. If we click on the Start Here area, you'll see our syllabus. And then you'll also see our content and assignment schedule. So that which you just saw in our video is available in content and the content and assignment area. The syllabus you can click on here and you can download the syllabus, which will pop right up. I did it right there. And we have our kind of our course in writing, if you will. Again, we have some ideas about the assessments, our pedagogy, the grading scale. So again, 10 reflections, and those are 10 points each. 3 cases, 75 points each. 4 project parts, 50 points each. Okay, as a team. And then that should add up properly here. Hopefully I got that right and all is good. So you don't want to not do stuff. You want to make sure things are turned in on time. You don't want any penalties for that. You want to put your best foot forward in everything that you do. I will grade fairly critically. So you want to be there. Also be mindful of the grading scale itself, and where the pluses and grades, letters fall, and so on and so forth. Okay, obviously this is an online course, so we don't have a in-person type of thing. I do have an artificial intelligence and AI statement here. I'd like you to read that and be aware of that. In most cases, I want your thoughts. Now, if you use AI to flesh through your thoughts, that's super. I mean, that's being smart. If you use AI and pass them off as your thoughts, you'll get a 0. So that's not something you should be doing, just as a development thing. If you're a learner, then this is a thing that you're not doing. Okay, missed assignments, you can still turn in work late, but I do assess penalties for late work. I always tell students turn something in and we'll work on getting you some credit. And so that's something that you want to be aware of. Okay, otherwise you can read through the syllabus. I'm not going to go through all this in detail, but you have it available to you. And please feel free to kind of ask me questions and so on and so forth. Other tabs you're going to see here, the weekly discussion forum. So this is your reflection. I'll change that name actually to say reflection. And those will be located under this tab. Your cases will be here. Project will be here. Again, this is an outline of the project or a description of it. And it'll have your deliverable spaces in there. And then each of these other tabs, market-led strategic management, this is the first one. There's going to be content in here. There's going to be content for your weekly readings, weekly material, and videos and stuff like that. So each week, each chapter that we do will have its own tab. Okay, so I wanted to get this video out to you. I'm throwing out a fairly good amount of information to you today. Course starts in earnest tomorrow, and the Moodle space is a work in progress, and it will continue to be, at least for the next week or so. But what you're going to see is consistency. You'll see, once we get through a week or two, it's going to be the same pattern of organization for the whole semester. Again, once we kind of get to that point, it'll be good. I do want you to ask questions though, or touch base with me if there's any concerns, where you are, what you're doing, and so on and so forth. I also typically do at least one update video a week, just to do a roundup of information, just hey, here's a heads up, here's the things you're going to be doing. I typically do that as well. Again, the week starts on Thursday, so that might come out on Wednesday or it might come out on Thursday, just a kind of a preview of the week and the materials that we're covering. So you can look for that as well. And I'll make that available through the announcements. Then we'll go from there. So with that, again, welcome to the class. I know this has been a little verbose, so I've kind of carried on a little bit. I think all the information in this video has been helpful. I hope it has. But again, if you have questions or any concerns or anything like that, always email me. If it's late at night, I'm not going to get to it till the next day. If it's on the weekend, it might be Monday. Just know that. And if you're ever on campus, I'm in 301D, which is in the Wall Building, third floor, marketing area, 301. That's where I am a lot of the time. So pop in and see me. And otherwise, again, have a great start of your semester. Thanks.